What is going on, everybody? We are back for episode number 23. We've got a badass guest today. Please welcome to the show, Eric. Eric, thank you so much for joining us, taking some time.
Oh, of course, James. Thank you guys for having me. And I've been watching from afar, not too far. So I'm excited for the opportunity, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I think your story's pretty unique, and I'd love to dive in there a little bit because I get more excited to see your perspective than I do for most people that have been selling houses for 15, 20 years, just because I feel like you come with a real fresh approach. What's your story, man? How'd you get into this?
Oh man, COVID is the short answer. But I worked in technology for 6 years out of college just to kind of shorten the whole thing. And I had a friend of mine who worked for Veronica at the time, and during COVID, the only thing that was open was the beach. So we went out to the beach and Veronica had a beach house, and we're heading back. She's like, "Hey, stop at my boss's house." I'm like, "Nah, I don't want to. Let's just go home. I'm an introvert. I'm not here to talk to real estate people. It's just, yeah, blabber, blabber, blabber." So we stopped, and Veronica, being the curious person she is, started asking me what I did for a living. And I actually specialized in data analysis, specifically behavioral analysis and measuring like human performance or human behaviors and tying that into like performance, like business metrics, right? So before this, I worked for hospitality groups, all kinds of hospitality, Universal, Hilton, Intercontinental, Hard Rock. Anybody that has like front desk agents or casino agents or even servers at food and beverage we worked with a little bit, we can measure their behavior and tie that into performance or like the economics of the business. So that's what I did. And she just got this new Zillow account that was based on metrics. And she was like, "Dude, I need someone like you." So I consulted with her for a little bit. And then I was kind of intrigued with the whole real estate concept because, like, she gave me one sheet of financial, well, not even her ECs, my friend that got me on the team. She was doing a transaction coordination at the time, I believe. And she gave me, or she was overseeing transaction coordination. I'm sorry. She gave me a month's worth of transactional data out of SkySlope, right, with EXP. And so I'm looking at it and I'm like doing some math and like, "Damn, y'all make this much selling houses?" I was like, "You guys make money selling houses?" And I'm like, she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "How many?" And I think it was like something like 45 or 60 or 50, 45 or 50 sales for the month. And I was like, "How many like salespeople do you have?" And at the time they had a team of 65. So I'm like, "So you're telling me you're selling, like, they're not even selling one house per person. I'm seeing the same person on this list." It's like, "Yeah, that's how real estate is. Some people sell, some people don't." I was like, "Why?" So I started asking myself why. And then I started going just deeper. And then the why question took me all the way to a career. 2 years and some change later, and now I'm like so embedded in the business. It's kind of crazy, but that's kind of how it started. Yeah. It started with like just asking the question why, and now I'm here. So it all kind of worked out. That's the shortened version, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Yeah.
Well, let's dive into the why, right? So, like, the theme of this show is you're talking to a new agent. You're talking to an agent that's struggling or going to a new area. What what would you do to tell them in order to get from 0 to 100,000 real fast? What are the things you break down?
One thing that I notice, and this is not because I run a team, is that if you are in a new area, you are new to the business, our half life for an agent on our team is no more than 2 years because we develop them. That's our job,
Yep.
right? So I would say find a team. Doesn't matter where, who, brokerage, like, I don't really, it doesn't matter. Find a team. Find a team that has a good track record, find a team, and find a team where you're at too. So, with the Figaro team, we're kind of big. So when you're an agent that needs more intimacy, more one-on-one, that as yourself, you need a little bit more hand holding from the high. Like, try to find a smaller team. If you need more infrastructure and support because you want to scale, because you did 12 deals your first year and you want to get to 25 and 30, then find a little bit bigger team that'll give you resources. So I always tell yourself, like, meet yourself where you're at and find a team. 100% find a team, and then do what's asked from you. So I got this incredible sales director. His name is Chase Green. I'm not sure if you met him. He's a young kid, 26 years old, started real estate when he was 18, grew up with Veronica, played baseball with Veronica's son since he was 4 years old, like really grown up with the fake team, like truly did. And I had the pleasure of mentoring him, and I'm teaching him how to read data, teaching him how to do analysis, and he's like a sponge and he reads it. And the other day I wasn't too happy with the team performance overall. I got agents that put up 7-8 contracts in a month, and then some that have so much problems that blanketed at 0 and maybe 1. And I'm just like, I'm like, Chase, I'm driving accountability through you. Let's see what's happening. So me and him did a practice. We did some analysis on activities in our CRM, which is Follow Up Boss. And CRM is a point system. I mean, our CRM is a point system. Every activity, a call, conversation, text, email, appointment has a certain amount of points. I don't know the exact breakdown. I can pull them up for you, but it doesn't matter for the use case. Know this. Our top 12 agents for the month had 98,000 Follow Up Boss points. The rest of our team had a collective 77,000. The rest of my team, I'm talking a team of 50 people, we're looking at 12 and 38 effectively, right? So obviously I'm upset at this point. And I'm like, all right, well, once again, this is the quintessential fundamental understanding of effort versus outcome. The outcome's not there because the effort's not being put in place. They have the tools, they have the leads, they have the opportunities, right? And then my second right-hand individual, Harold Torres, also fake team 11 years. He's a head of training implementation. He's a head of training and development. I'm sorry. He goes, and yeah, look at this secondary list. All these people who are on the bottom, and you see the leads they took. It's like 1-2 a month, and it's like, well, they're not even grabbing opportunities to even have the chances to make the phone calls and activities. So once again, it's effort versus outcome. They're just letting this stuff kind of like go by. So we identified it, and very quickly in 60 days, we turned the ship. And I mean, if you look at the analysis now, it looks a lot different. People are taking 5 to 10 leads a month, but it's just kind of like, people will join the team and then not even use what's in front of them. So like, first, go find a team if you're new. Second, use all the resources available. Like, exhaust every single one. If not, there's no point in you being on the team. And then if you, and I'm going to be so brutally honest, if you struggle having success with the team, you have to go look in the mirror. Like Marcus Aurelius, just stare at yourself and figure out, what is it you want to do and why you've entered this industry, and I think that, to me, that's my biggest recommendation to anybody who's just coming into a new place or new to the industry. That's what I'd recommend for sure. Killing
it. And, I'd venture to say that you've got this dialed in. So I'm going to kind of pick your brain for everybody. You got it. All right. So you've got a new opportunity. How many touch points?
14 average contact attempts per lead that you acquire on a weekly basis. So if, say, you're in a pond system, which is fine, you get a new lead in your database, you got to dial it out. You're going to triple dial it day 1. You're going to text it and you're going to email it, and you're going to do the same thing on day 2. And you're going to do the same thing like throughout the week. You should very minimum get 14 contact attempts on a single lead. The best agents I have are up to the 20 and 21s, and that is just super, super consistent. I could pull up my agent reporting. You'll see my best agents are up in the 20s at this point. I used to think, James, that 10 was what it was. But what you realize with the shift in the market is it's a change. It's a change in the game. The landscape has changed, so we have to change as well. Right? One of the biggest things that I always say, and it's a Darwinian quote, it's not the strongest, fastest, or most intelligent that survived. It's the one that's most adaptable to change. So you're always going to find this preconceived notion that, oh, my external is different, but I got this. Can I say shit? I got this shit figured out. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm going to say it. But I got this shit figured out. Yeah, I got this shit figured out, so I don't need to change. Well, no, your external is changing, so the internal has to as well. And you have to meet the market where it's at. So I used to think 10 was good. Well, 10 was great when everybody walking through the door was a qualified buyer. and you just really had to try to find them a house to get into. Now there's less qualified buyers, kinda. If you're doing your good job as a real estate agent, you will let them know that now is a good enough time to buy as ever, because although interest rates are higher, you don't have to go $40,000-$50,000 over asking price. Then you also don't have to come up another $25,000 to beat appraisal. You know, if you're a good real estate agent, you're going to tell them like, hey, houses are coming down, inventory's coming up. Yeah, your interest rate might be a little bit higher, but you get into the house because you're not married to the interest rate. You can always refi when things go down, but you're going to get an opportunity that 3.5 months ago, we wouldn't be even showing you this house at this time, because this house was listed $60,000 more and out of your price range. So it's just like concepts like this is that the contact attempts really are that intimacy with the consumer. So 10 was before, but now 15 is there because you need to be there and give them that level of certainty that they're in the right place in the right hands. So this is what I'm saying. And then that's why you see my best agents are 21 contact attempts. These aren't 21 just call. These are 21 relationship building activities is what I call them. But we look at it from the empirical data on the back end as contact attempts, right? So that's what I'm seeing. Like 14 is our company standard at this point if we give you a lead. And that is just for you to do 12 to 20 deals a year. And obviously there's people on my team that cap at 50, you know, and more deals a year. But I'm saying, like, if you want me not to let you go from my team, that's what you have to do. And it's not me, it's just our team standards. I talk about myself in third party as if I'm the company. But it's just the concept there is that you would want to look at the minimum of 14 per person per week that you gather in your database, you know. So you always should be sending, and this is inclusive of like Happy Father's Day emails and things like that, and general contact attempts and good morning texts and hey, I found this great nice house for you, or just like a lot of the generic stuff as well. But really finding out who they are is a big thing. And Harold's really good about it. Harold does his one-on-ones, dude. He'll be like, okay, James Adam, tell me about James. Where's he from? What's he do? Our agent's like, oh, well, like, oh, well, let's see. Well, you really haven't even tried to connect with this person, you know? So let's try to do so. So he's really good at that. And I have really good people that I work with, but it's just that whole thing. Like, you need at least 14. I mean, I would say 20 if I can make it perfect, but you know, we can't. And once again, that's today. If I come on this 3 months later, it could be different, you know? So that's just where we're at today.
My hope, like, since I started this show, was that people would come on. They're looking for that turning point. They're looking for that advice that's going to help them get to the next level. And what you just hit right there, the way it hit me was, if you want to survive and thrive through a market like this, be the guy who goes to 20. Be the guy who takes the extra measure. Be the guy who calls 3 times in the first day, 3 times in the second day, or girl, I should say, or girl, right?
Yeah.
Like, take that next level,
agent, yeah.
right? Yeah, like, if you want to thrive through a market that's shifting, you can, because guess what? There's a lot of agents that won't do the work that you can do.
Correct. And, you know, coming like holistically, let's look at it from a macro perspective. How you get your opportunities are different too. Every major conglomerate or lead source conglomerate is telling you there's 20% less connections coming to the board. So these leads that you're getting, these opportunities you're getting, they are gold at this point. You know, like I had my top agent, Nikki Prince, hit me up the other day. Eric, what's up? I'm not getting any leads. It's because she only got 21 month, you know, and during, like, you know, 5-6 months ago, she was able to get 40, no problem. Once again, she's doing 7. She can put up 7-8 deals a month. So her conversion rate is tremendous, right?
Yep.
So we're like, hey, and she's like, She came to me one day. I said, look, I pulled up the data. I said, look, you're still in our top performer tier. You're still getting the most in terms of team and performance. It's like, and she goes, it's changing. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, it's going back to what it was, the market. I go, okay, Nikki, what does that mean? She's like, I got to work harder. I got to do these things a little bit differently. And I'm like, okay. I just gave her a little bit of information. I didn't even know what it came to. And she changed her entire, and she's still doing 5 to 7 a month. Like, just changed, started adding these people on Facebook to be like, they're my friends now. Like, she literally took that approach. Like, these people are my friends now. Goes and has lunch with them. Like, really takes it seriously. Doesn't matter if they come from the internet. Doesn't matter where they came from. She's out there putting them in that relationship to get those deals done, because she's got a big why and why she's here. And she's going to change to adapt to the market. She's not going to look at me, Eric, as the leader, Veronica or Chase or Harold, like, you guys did this to me. These, no. She's like, I got to change. She looks in the mirror and she's made a change. And, it's awesome because she gets in front of the sales meeting and goes like, you can't get any easier than this, guy. It's just to make your phone calls, do your things you're supposed to do, how to build relationships. So, I mean, it's just kind of a concept like that. Like, and she's been in it for 15 years, James. So, like, this is not new to her. So she's just understanding that it's a recycle and a rinse and repeat type of style business. So she's like, okay, my mindset's back to 2017, 2018 now. I'm getting out of what it was, this COVID built industry. And she was able to do that. So any agents that are new, just know that sometimes those things happen. This business is cyclical, and you have to adapt to it. And it's never the team, it's never the lead, it's never that. It's you at the highest level. I really, really do believe that.
100%. 100%. Because that same theory applies. Let's say they're not even on the team, right? Like now, like then it gets real, right? Like, then who are you going to blame?
Yeah. And I mean, so I'll give you a little bit story, and I pride myself on what we built here, James. You know that I love my job. I love this team. I love, and I spend way too many hours working, but I love it because I have a great team under me. I believe I have the best leader in the country, Veronica Figueroa. I don't care what anybody says. I've met everybody who's worth anything, and I do believe in her and her vision, her growth, and I really love my agents too. But I'm like that tough love kind of guy. Like, everybody talks about culture and stuff, and I'm like, I have a culture too, but it's a productivity and accountability. That's my culture, because if I'm going to stay up 78 hours a week to try to build the best resource for you guys, I'm not asking you to work like that, but I'm asking you to give everything that you can to this business because everybody else is. And one of the things that's funny is that I rolled out a new team agreement last year. I don't know if you heard this debacle. So I rolled out a new team agreement last year. I had 13 agents leave overnight. They kind of had a coup, and they had a ringleader, but that's why I say there's a difference between a ringleader and a leader, because he had someone to get someone all fired up, upset about the new agreement, which really was to support the agents in the long run, just also to protect the business at the same time. Had 13 people up and leave. And my boy, and I'm like, okay, and I wasn't perfect. It was a big learning mistake for me. I asked them to give me time. I made the corrections where we found fallacies in the agreement. I had lawyers draft it. So, it was very lawyery, and I took out a lot, and I was just trying to protect the business. We got burnt so many times, people taking leads, people doing this, people backdooring, referral fees, like a lot of things. So I'm trying to protect the business. I'm doing my job. And obviously Nikki, the woman I spoke about, said, hey, like, I believe in Eric. I'm going to give him the week he says to let him correct it. So I went back to the drawing board. 13 people left. 4 are left in real estate. 4 have active license out of 13. 4 do.
How about that?
Yeah, 4. And out of those 4 that sold real estate, they're probably down 60 to 7% to what they were when they're on the team in terms of production. So it's the irony. I made mistakes. I didn't do the best thing. They made mistakes on leaving, but I pride myself in this team because I do believe we have the best, if not one of the best, support systems in the country. So, and that's why I'm very prideful of that, and I work very hard to keep that afloat. So I always say that, like, all right, you're going to turn away from the team, be ready to work 3 times as hard, because you're going to have to provide the infrastructure and the support that we were able to give you, plus work through this market. So that's the reality.
100%. Yeah, a lot of people think that going out there and starting their own team or building it, I don't know. Honestly, like, now that I've done it once, I'm already deep enough where I'm going to finish the journey. But like, if I could start over, I don't know that I would do it.
I think, but you have a peculiar case. Like, you are a very powerful individual, and you manifested where you're at today. And I know that about you. So you told me you went from making, I'm not going to put you on blast, but we're in Cabo. You went from making this a year and woke up and it was like 3 times the amount in the next year because you just got yourself in order. And that comes with personal development and growth. And I'm never saying you can't start a team, but if you're new to real estate, you got to be a sponge and absorb everything around you, just as I was when I came to the industry. Like, I didn't come at an agent level. I came as a leadership level, which was even a little bit harder. I mean, I'm not going to say it's harder. I don't know. Like, I really don't know the differences, but a little bit different, and I think you just got to absorb everything around you. So we have 4 teams that spun off from the Figaro team now in our own market, and we support. We have 4 teams, and we love that. And and EXP allows us to do that holistically, truthfully.
Yep.
And the great thing is that every single one of their teams have their own niche. One's an investment team. One was a teacher and does a lot of school drives, and one is in a specific community, and one was a solo eight. So we have these different. They found their niches, but they learned who they were on our team before they went out and did it on their own. It wasn't like, I'm not getting where I want. Like, these people worked their asses off and they grinded, and they were with our team for 2-3 years at a time. And they were finally like, okay, I got my money saved. I got my stuff in order. They told us ahead of time. They're super communicative. And we were like, okay, how do we create and support that launch pad to get you going?
Yeah.
And now we have 4 teams that are successful and have their small niches and are in their path to growth. Now we've had other people that just call us some days, I'm out, and try to do this and start a team, and they're falling, they're falling by the wayside. And I mean, it's a shame, but it is what it is. I can't save everybody, bro. Can't save everybody,
100%.
but it is what it is. Yeah.
Hey man, I appreciate you taking the time here and helping us all out. And I'd really like to find what do you think is a good thing to leave people on, like a good thought for them to leave this with.
Well, I already gave you my Darwin quote about being adaptable, and I already gave you the concept of effort versus outcome, right? So, my last thing I would tell you is look at yourself and say, what can I do better in my business today, and take action on it immediately. Don't let that finding or that thought dwindle away into ethos, as I say it. It's the same reason why all the major inventors and major astounding people of our world would have notebooks by their bed and would dream and wake up and write it down and do all these like concepts. Ben Franklin with the what were they, like those 2 balls he used to use in his hand, and then when he would doze off, he'd drop and he'd like find it. Like, don't let these thoughts go to waste, because they started here, but they materialize in the real world. And I think that, like, if you think you could do something better, just try to do it better, and be really comfortable being uncomfortable. Just always go towards that piece of it. So, and that's what I could leave people off with. At the end of it, I think that if they adhere to that advice, they're going to do something different in their business, and they will see a change over time for sure.
Eric, your time is valuable. Thank you again for taking the time to meet with us and hopping on here with me.
James, you're the man. Anytime. I hope to be back in 3 months, see where the market's at, see where things are at, and I can help you guys out again, give you some more insight and some more data. But very much appreciate your time, brother. It was great seeing you, and I hope to get together soon.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Bye.